Hello and welcome to a special presentation from In the Money Media brought to you by our friends at First. Hello, if you are listening, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're following via First/Gulfstream/Santa Anita social media channels as we stream this live, that's great too. We're so happy to have you with us to talk about one of these bets. I'm really loving this Sunset 6 bet. It reminds me of the old days. We are getting regular carryovers. We'll admit we are now actually recording this before Friday where there's a carryover. So there's a chance there's a really huge one in the races we're about to talk about. But I mean, JK, to me, it's this reminder of the old days and the good stuff that happens when you put forth player-friendly terms, high minimum, low takeout, limited access to computers. I'm loving the Sunset 6.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I love the fact that you put together the last three, which are typically pretty good races from wherever you're watching racing. Works out perfectly to have the carryovers popping up here and there. It's definitely a wager I can get behind.
Let's go right into it for the Saturday races. We're going to start off with race number 9 at Gulfstream Park. We're going a mile and 70 for these fillies, 10 dime claimers. Who do you like to put on the first leg of your tickets?
Yeah, I'm going to use three horses in here. The synthetic can be a little bit tricky. I better get used to it in coming into New York here. I'll go 1, 5, 8 as A's and the 6 as a B. I'll talk about the 8 Compass Rises. A horse who's been closing in his last 3 starts, but I thought his last race was actually pretty good. Her race, excuse me. She was wide all the way around there. The horse that won the race wired the field. That's definitely something that I think it looks a little bit better if you think at it that way rather than looks on paper. That kind of nondescript third beaten 3 lengths. So Compass Rises will be kind of my top choice, but I want to make sure I have 1, 5, 8, and like I said, I'll use the 6 as a B.
Okay, well, that's almost like we planned it because I had the 1 and the 5. So it's perfect that you talked about the 8, and I do buy your case there, and we'll take another long look at her. But for me, Sal's Dream Girl, I was just envisioning a really good trip from the cozy draw. This, I thought, seemed like a slightly easier spot than last time, and this one maybe is improved for the new barn. The 5-runner Bet Stormy brings in a different line of form entirely than those coming out of the common race. The numbers fit, and this new barn has been flying as well for the number 5 runner in here. I'm gonna play around with those two and hope for the best as we kick things off at Gulfstream Park. I wanted to name check. I wanted to name check the Angler Barn, who has been doing well, and I think could have a winner here to kick things off. But 1-5, I'll probably throw in your 8 as well as we look at it a little bit more. We'll pivot to the middle leg of the 3 Gulfstream races we're going to talk about. We get back onto the dirt for this Florida bred allowance going 7 furlongs. I thought Lou the Body looked very solid to me in this spot, JK. Best speed overall, has a little bit of finish too, especially for a speed horse. Really like this one. Won't stand alone, though. This one will probably be half the money. I did want a couple of backups. The one, Adios Now, thought had plenty of back races. Didn't have the easiest trip last time. The new Barnes runners have been firing. And the 5, Zydeco. This one's a softer angle, but just looking at the pace line, this horse made 2 moves in that last race, showing some pace early, settling, finishing okay. Don't know how it's going to work out with Lou the Body in terms of what exactly the trip for Zydeco is going to be, but I wanted to keep on side. Mostly the 3, a little 1 and 5 for me. Who do you like in the 10th?
Yeah, I'm going to just single the 3 here, Lou the Body. For me, if you look at Timeform US, horse ran 2 races back, ran a 107, 3 races back, ran a 108. That's faster or as fast as anything else any in this race has ever run. This horse is just faster than these horses. Should work out a nice trip from this position. And, I'm always rooting for my man, Rajiv Mirage.
There you go, your colleague and pal. What fun it always is talking to him when it comes to racing, and it's been good to see his returned success. Let's talk about good to know that we're in lockstep there on a horse for you to sit to stone cold single, for me to press. But let's talk about this 11th race as we wrap things up at Gulfstream. We've got maiden claimers on the turf, and JK, will keep it with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5, 6, 8. The 5 CYs last ran for Christoph and ran well enough. Took some money in for 16 at Tampa. I'll give that one a shot just off of that one race. And then the 6 and the 8, they're both horses that are dropping from 35. These other horses have been running for the 17.5, and frankly, none of them have been running all that well. Why is it going to change now? Give me kind of the new faces. When I say new faces, I mean new to this low level. 5, 6, and 8, and 8 are the ones that are likely the ones to get it done. But the 5 just had that figure I couldn't ignore.
I hear you. I had CYs in the mix. This is an unexposed horse, made a move into a fast pace in the Lone Star and just looks really eligible for better. But I had another one on top. I had co-A's in here, the 5 CYs being one. The 4 645, sort of the other end of the spectrum from the unexposed CYs. This one is kind of exposed, but a flow move up for me coming out of that last race, who might be able to make the top. And I just thought this was a weaker group than what 645 has been facing. A lot of 4 and 5 for me. 5, 6, and 8 for JK as we enter the dinner break portion. The bet starts at 5:07 with race 9 at Gulf. This one goes off at 6:11, and then we'll continue just about an hour later, a little less than an hour later, with race number 7 at Santa Anita. Before we get to that, though, just want to put in a shout out to folks, however you're consuming this content. We've got so much coverage coming up for you, not just on the first racing. We're looking forward to covering them as the championship meet gets kicked off. We'll be popping their contests on here, etc. But Breeders' Cup, we have so much Breeders' Cup coverage coming up. And the best way to make sure that you don't miss any of it, subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel, subscribe to the In the Money Players podcast, wherever you get your pods. And then another thing you can do to get advantaged to be reading our free written content as well, the In the Money Media newsletter, inthemoneypodcast.com/email. That's going to send you all manner of relevant links, and you don't want to miss it. And yeah, really, free tips and analysis daily. Dean Kepler does such a great job for us covering Santa Anita, gives out as many winners as anybody. That'll be linked in a lot of the newsletters, or you can just bookmark inthemoneypodcast.com. All right, enough talking about business. Let's get back to the business of racing, specifically this 7th, which is the feature at Santa Anita on Saturday. California Flag. We're going 6.5 down the hill. And this is really interesting. Lovesick Blues making the return to the races here, coming off that 105 figure in the Crosby, getting back on to the turf. I'm not leaving this horse off everything because the 105 obviously crushes the field, and this is a talented horse. But at the same time, this is a 7-year-old that just ran a 105, 0 for 8 down the hill, JK. I'm not committing to this horse. Let's put it that way. We'll start off talking about race 7 by me asking you what I think the key question is. Are you with or against Lovesick Blues?
Yeah, I mean, look, horses obviously got some class over these horses, but I don't trust Lovesick Blues, especially at the price Lovesick Blues will be. I'll use the 2. I'll use the 3. I don't love turf sprint, 5 furlong turf sprinters stretching back out. I want to say that it was something I had talked with Chad Brown about as far as Bobby's Kitten was concerned, and something that he had talked with and heard from Bobby Frankel, that when they're going 5 like that, and I think Richard Migliori might even kind of added to this, when you're going down the hill, the weapon that you have that allows you to win a 5 furlong race becomes kind of null, because you're going downhill. You can only go so fast. Your feet are going to catch up anyways from the horses that aren't nearly as quick as you are because of gravity. And so that's a little bit of an issue for me. Horses that run extremely well going 5, I don't trust. The 2 and the 3 I will use, though, because they both have a lot of talent. The top choice in here, but also I'll use them all as A's, is the 8 Flyover. It's a horse that has big races going a mile. One of my favorite things is fast-paced horses going a mile, cutting back down the hill, drawn outside. It's quite literally, if I could get that tattooed on my arm, it's one of my favorite angles.
I'm not sure there's room.
We'll find it. I got some room over here. And then also the fact the horse ran at 5 last time, showing a bunch of speed and ran well enough, suggests the horse is in great form. I like everything about Flyover. And he's one that gets me really excited.
8, 2, and 3 for you. Interesting. I have the same angle, but a different horse with number 6, Mana Rose, in this spot. This horse coming out of a big figure at Los Al, but has fast races, showing speed at a mile on both surfaces, dirt and turf, and once ran a 104 turf sprinting, granted going 6. Never been down the hill. So a real question mark as far as that goes, but has a lot of the markers I like to see. I had the 6 on top, the 3 book smart. I mean, I agree. I don't generally like this type, the 5 furlong going to the 6.5, but just really looked like the clear speed. So I wanted to keep on side. I was going to keep Lovesick Blues. I don't see how I can ignore you. I'm at this point tempted to boot Lovesick Blues, put your 8 in here. And if I'm doing that, if I'm going seriously anti-Lovesick Blues, I might throw in Shea Brennan as well. I don't love this horse at the rail with a lot of unknowns, but does have some strong figures. And if I'm going to beat the favorite, I probably shouldn't lose to the 1. Still sort of in flux here, but definitely 6 and 3 for me. I'll probably chicken out, use Lovesick Blues, and leave off the 1. But I'm going to probably then have to also back up with your 8 because you made such a good case for that one. It's a fascinating running of the California flag and a race where I do think you can take a shot against Lovesick Blues. Let's go. I might not be brave enough to do it. Sometimes it's a do what I say, not what I do. But I also want to be honest about what I'm likely to do. We move to race number 8. We've got 2-year-old fillies. These are maiden claiming 50s going 5.5. I had 2 that I wanted to mainly focus on. The 7, Final Table Lady, I thought had solid speed, dropping in class. Same angle, really, with the 4, Blame It on Abby, another dropper with speed. Those were the 2 I was focused on. I'm certainly open to using others. What numbers will be on your tickets?
Yeah, I'm going to go 4, 6, 7. The 4 being the top pick in here. The 4, Blame It on Abby. One of the things when you look at Timeform US and you look at the pace projector, they're doing this thing now where they're kind of putting a little bit of a flag by the horse with the best late pace. And usually that horse ends up being at the back, or it's especially on the back half of the field. It's not too often you see a race where the horse ends up sitting 2nd or 3rd early. And that's where Blame It on Abby is. 2nd or 3rd early with the best late pace, dropping in class from the maiden special weight, drawn well enough in the middle of the field. I think Blame It on Abby could be tough in here with an angle that you don't see very often when looking at Timeform US. But because I've got some other strong opinions, I don't want to get beat by some of these other ones. So I'll go 4, 6, 7. But I want to be clear that the 4 is my top pick and a horse that I could be convinced to single if there were some budget constraints.
Gotcha. I'll list it with the 4 as an A and the 6, 7 as a B, with the caveat it's going to depend on the specifics of the construction, what you actually do. You shouted out Timeform US. That does remind me to give some love to our friends over there at the place with the letters, as we affectionately call it, DRF. They've got their Breeders' Cup package coming too. We've got ours coming from the In the Money Plus side. These 2 things are very complementary. The DRF Breeders' Cup Pass Performance is going to have more selections and analysis. You get the full PPs, betting lines. David Aragona, we talked to last week. He's going to be very involved. It's must-have stuff. I think you try to use both. Go to drf.com to learn more about their Breeders' Cup advanced package. And while you're doing that, go over to inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. If you sign up for a month of our In the Money Plus service, you're going to get our full DRF package, our full Breeders' Cup package included in that. They've also got bespoke PPs. If you want just the PPs for the Sunset 6 and for the Coast to Coast, you can find them there also under the DRF Pass Performances. One more race to talk about on this show. It is race number 9. We've got a second level allowance / optional claiming 80 going a mile and an 1/8 on the turf. JK, how are we going to close this thing out?
Yeah, look, I didn't want to get to this last leg and get beat up here. So for me, 3, 5, 6, and 7. 3, 5, 6, and 7. I feel like I can lock this race up with top 4. Oh, did I mute?
No. I was just saying it's the same 4 numbers that I have. We're in absolute lockstep here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the one interesting one is Old Pal coming in off a 266-day break. Not really sure what to make of that, but the horse has won off a 343-day layoff. So it was a couple of years ago, but there is a situation in which we at least know the horse can run well fresh. So I think that in this position, with some of the other opinions I have throughout I didn't want to try to get too cute. 3, 5, 6, 7, lock it up. The 3, obviously, the top choice coming in off that really long layoff.
Yeah, we have the same 4 numbers. Funny enough, I'll just run them down real quick. The 6, City Exile, I thought had the chance to get the best trip with that tactical ability. And I really like this distance for this horse. He's been kind of all around it. But I think the 9 furlongs today in this spot going to really suit City Exile. Lamas, the 5, ran okay from Mullins off the claim, was making ground late in there, going long in a slow-paced race. Just seemed like one that's probably just a little bit better than that last running line. Those are horses I'm always looking to include where I can. You already made the case for Old Pal. Absolutely sets the standard on figures. Layoff to overcome, and he's going to have to pass most of them. But I like the look of the recent work tab. And as you said, I like to see a horse who has that club in the bag of having shown they can get really fit off works. We know that about Old Pal. And then the 7, Henry Adams, another off a pretty significant layoff. But I mean, look at the form here. Has a group three win at Leopardstown. I mean, that's notable, includable on that basis alone. Let's see if we can hit this Sunset 6 on Saturday, JK. And we look forward to having you back in the good old US of A next week as we've kicked off the Breeders' Cup coverage, but we'll kick it off in earnest. Any closing thoughts from you?
No, and have fun. Good luck. Hopefully you hit the thing on Friday with the carryover, but if you don't, hopefully you hit it on Saturday.
Let's hit them both. I mean, let's be greedy here. Sometimes that's important. If you want to do, haven't used this phrase in a while, somebody used it the other day to me. Maybe it was Chris Couples talking about a big day that he had. He said, I pulled a JK, I crushed their souls. Let's crush their souls and take down a couple, 2, 2, 3 Sunset 6s this weekend. Thank you so much, JK. Thanks to our friends at First for sponsoring this content, especially Peter Rotundo. We're going to be back with more very soon. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel.